Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to one and all. Hearty welcome to today's discussion on an hypothesis formulation. And also, we will see that on how AI is using, we can use an AI in hypothesis formulation. As you know that on whenever we start in research, especially the quantitative research, we think about experimentation. So hypothesis plays a very, very important role. For this one, you have to know the very fundamental things like research begins with an curiosity. We observe the phenomena. We'll try to find out any gaps in the knowledge and go for its explanations. Then on this basis, we will construct an hypothesis. So what is this hypothesis? A hypothesis is a tentative statement. It predicts the relationship between the variables, independent variable and dependent variable, and also it provides a direction for the researcher to go for further steps like how to collect the data and how to analyze it. So if you see the exact definition of an research, a hypothesis is it is a testable proposition that predicts a relationship between two or more variables. Always think that it is a testable one whenever you will say hypothesis. So it focuses on the study. It guides the researcher what type of research design he needs. Then variables may be dependent, independent variable. Then confounding variables. Then it starts to identify the variable to be measured. How we can, especially in quantitative research, it facilitates how to collect the data and how to analyze. By using the different statistical methods and how we can interpret it. For example, if the researcher wants to research on whether online learning influences academic performance or not. So you can construct it that as a hypothesis, students who actively engage in an online learning platforms achieve their performance higher than those who uses lesser or minimal. So this is the way that you can frame it. So how we can frame this hypothesis? It comes from an observation, what you analyze it in the environment, in the phenomena, construction of the research problem, collecting data from different sources, what you call in review of literature, then framing the research questions, then framing a hypothesis, then going for data collection and its analysis. Now, we will see that on how we can formulate it, So, hypothesis formulation is a process. It is a scientific and creative process, Before that one, you have to have a logical reasoning, theoretical understanding, and evidence from the previous studies. So we have to go very in-depth, genuine review of literature. For here, first you have to identify the problem. What is there? For example, does AI-assisted tutoring improve student learning outcomes? This is the problem. So we have to search it on an online materials. Find out the gaps, find out the contradictions. Then what is the newest trends? Then you can define the variables like an independent variable, dependent variable. Here, the independent variable is an influence. The factor to influence. Another variable. For example, AI assisted tutoring. Then dependent is the outcome. What are the student learns? The student learning outcomes is the dependent variable. Then you can predict relationships. Like an increased use of an AI tutoring systems positively influences learning outcomes. That we are having a directional hypothesis, means it is having an that it goes in a positive direction. So when you are constructing, you have to see that on whether it is a good hypothesis or not. Whenever you are framing it, it must be clear, it must be specific in nature. What it is to measure, it must be measurable, means it must be testable one. and it based on a theory or conceptual framework, okay, or an evidence, then it must be feasible to investigate it, okay, within the time and resources. Then it must be ethical in nature. No, we know that what is hypothesis and what are the things we have to keep it in mind. And especially if you come to an types, okay, in an experimental research, okay, we'll go for a null hypothesis, okay. It states that there is no relationship exists, okay. Means there is no significant difference in learning outcomes between students using AI and those who don't know, okay, those who do not use it, okay. This is known as a null hypothesis. This is a testable one, okay. Then for this alternative case, means it shows the relationship, how it is in existing. Means students using AI tutoring systems perform significantly better than those who do not. Next is the directional hypothesis. It gives the direction to the for the relationship. Means AI supported the instruction increases research productivity. Means it is a positive one. Non-directional, it predicts relationship without specifying the direction. Means there is no direction. Like an AI usage is associated with the changes in research productivity, whether it is in positive or negative in nature. Okay. So for this one, you can use AI, okay, for learning it, for framing it, okay, and for finding out the research gaps, for review of literature, and also for recognizing the patterns, okay, by NLP, and for prediction, for decision, also you can use an AI. So here you can use some of the platforms. So like just I want to show you here. Our research genius is there, okay. You can use chat GPT. Okay, this is the research genius. You can here you can see that one frame a hypothesis. This is frame a hypothesis uh, on the topic stress and coping among nursing students. Okay, this is for an example. We will see what it gives. Okay, this our research genius. Okay, the research genius is the one of the finest platform for the research process. Okay, so I have given the prompt that stress and coping among nursing students. Okay, so research objective to assess the relationship between stress levels and coping strategies among nursing students. So what will be the hypothesis, null hypothesis? Here, where I will say that one, we can define that H naught, usually denoted by H naught, or an null hypothesis. There is no significant relationship between stress levels and coping strategies among nursing scholars. Okay. Then we have to frame in an alternative hypothesis that there is a significant relationship between stress levels and coping strategies. Then you can make it as a directional, that nursing students who utilize adaptive coping strategies, okay, like problem solving, then having in social contact or social support, okay, then positive reframing, okay, will report lower levels of perceived stress. Then nursing students who utilize maladaptive coping strategies like an avoidance, bunking the classes, okay, denial, substance use, okay, will report higher levels of perceived stress. Next, you can have a comparative hypothesis, okay, means there is no significant difference in stress levels among nursing students across different years of study. Then you can make it an alternate. There is a significant difference in stress levels among nursing students across different years of study. Next one is predictive hypothesis. Coping strategies significantly predict the stress levels of nursing students. So you can use chat GPT, especially the research genius, okay. Then you can go for a site, okay. Site is also one of the very good platform, okay, which you can prepare the hypothesis, okay. Here you can write the prompt, then you can go for it. Okay. Then you can go for paper poll. Okay, here you can write it. Then if you are having anything, you can upload it. You can use this one for an review of literature, for an finding out the gaps and all the things. Okay, there are so many other AI tools are available. Then when you know that one, these are all the types of an hypothesis you can frame it. Okay, then you can utilize an AI tools for an writing, for an framing the hypothesis, and for testing also. Okay, so AI is an helping in each and every way. Thank you.